and welcome. Today's video is the second in the mini-series of No Chuck, No Problem, turning pieces on a faceplate basically without the use of a forge or chuck. Today I'm going to be turning a box. This is just one of the methods that you can use with this technique, and I hope you find it interesting. And without further ado, we'll go across to the lathe and start turning a box on a faceplate. Okay, so here's the blank that I'm going to be using to make this box. It's a nice piece of tulip that was very kindly given to me by my friend Graham Light. Thanks for that, Graham. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to put this between centres. I've already found the centre of the piece with a centre finder, made two holes to locate the live centre and the drive centre, and get it to round, and then we shall glue it to the faceplate. And this is the faceplate that I'll be using. It was used for making the goblet in the previous video. I have screwed that to a wooden block, turned that round. I have a groove here which indicates the furthest I can actually part off because of the screws coming through. There's a lot of leeway there, but better safe than sorry. And as you can see, it won't be long before I've got to glue on another sacrificial piece of wood, if I should so wish. It won't be necessary on this project because I will be gluing the piece to the wooden block and then parting off somewhere about here. So I won't actually be going into the faceplate itself. Okay, so I'll turn this to round, glue it to the faceplate, and then we can start turning the box itself. So now I've got my hot glue, as hot as I can get it with my gun, and spread a liberal amount on the inside, and then slide your blank in and bring up the tailstock to square it and let that dry. So that just applies a bit of pressure to the glue. That's dried up nicely now. It's been about 10 minutes, and as you can see, it's gone opaque. And now just run a bead around the join. Make sure it's all the way round, and let it cure. When it goes opaque, as I say, we'll know it's dry, and I'll come back and we'll start the box. So you can see now that the glue has taken on an opaque appearance, and that is the sign that it has cured. So we can remove the tailstock now, and that is as secure as it would be in a forge or chuck, I assure you. So now what I'm going to do is to put a tenon on the lid of the box so that I can, when I part it off, I will make a mortise in the body, and I can jam the lid into that body, and then I can hollow out and put a tenon on there, on this part, so that when I spin it round again, it will slot into the mortise I'll make into the body. And also then, when that is in place, you can finish off the lid and also blend the body into the lid. Okay, now that we've got the lid parted off, I've put a little mark here which designates the top, because that's how I parted it off here. I put the tenons on before I parted off, and I use a thin parting tool to minimise line-up wastage, if you like. So now what we have to do is, being that's the top, the first thing we've got to do is to hollow out the inside of the lid. Now to do that, I need to obviously start to take away the inside. Now normally I would do that with a Forstner bit, but what I'll do, not everybody's got a Jacob's chuck to put in the tailstock to do that. So what I'll do, I'll hollow out sufficiently of this that I've got the sufficient depth to jam chuck this on, the lid on, and then we will assume that the rest of it has been hollowed out by means of a gouge or a square end scraper, whichever way you wish to do. So what I'll do now is to make sufficient depth here that I can jam fit the lid on, where I can hollow out the bottom, and then I will again jam fit the lid that way round to finish off the profile of the top of the lid. Just for added security, I'm going to add some masking tape on the join, and then that will allow me then, most of the work is going to be going inwards to hollow out the lid. Now for the purposes of this video, let's just say that's hollowed out to where we want it. That's the bottom of the lid. It's been sanded and your preferred finish has been put on. In my case it would be sealed with sanding sealer, Yorkshire grit and Hampshire sheen. So the inside of the lid is done. So now we can take off the tape. So the next thing to do, we'll assume here, by the way, that the body has been hollowed out. So the next thing to do is to blend in the body with the lid and to finish the shaping of the lid. When that's done, and of course you would have already sanded, sealed, Yorkshire gritted, Hampshire sheened, whatever finish you require to have on the inside of the box, so the inside of the box is actually finished. So we'll do that. Now to do this, again, I'm going to, once I've profiled the body, blended the body, and I'll bring the tailstock up for support there. Now again here what I've done, I've bound it up with masking tape because I'm going to be removing the tailstock now and need to get rid of that nub. Anything that you're doing now will be pushing towards the headstock, but I still prefer to have a bit of extra security, if you like, to stop the lid popping off. So with the tape removed now, you can you would sand the lid and the body, just do that final little bit of blending and then apply your sealer and finish of choice. As I say, in my case that would be Yorkshire grit and Hampshire sheen, and then part off the base. The reason I'm not doing that now is it's purely and simply to demonstrate the technique of how you can turn a box. And it's a little bit more involved doing it the way I wanted to get the grain to match up, and I'll zoom in now and you can see that that grain really does line up well. I hope that shows you and proves the point that the grain does really match up nicely using this method. I hope some of you found that of interest. The idea of this video wasn't to actually complete the box and to show the hollowing all the way through the process and the finishing and the sanding. It was merely to show the technique, or one of the techniques possible, to achieve a lidded box with lined up grain without a four-jaw chuck. And to that end, I hope I achieved my goal. Well, thank you very much indeed for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers now.